Right, let's go.
Let's go. No, we're here today with Louis. He's one of my business partners. We've been working along each other for a long time. We're here in Bali right now.
Yeah.
What's up?
It's good to finally meet in person.
Yes, sir.
After a long time. And obviously I'm here with Leo. You should be very familiar with him.
We're just going to talk about, once again,
Faceless YouTube.
Faceless YouTube, AI automation, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be interesting. So
100%. Where the business is going.
Yeah.
Your journey so far. I mean, let's start with, you're 21 years old. You've made, millions from Faceless YouTube.
Yeah.
Take us back. Like, where did it all start for you?
Yeah. I think the beginning of everything is kind of it will sound so much like these TikToks where people just post about their journey, all that kind of stuff. But it's actually quite funny. So I was in my class, or my kind of, I'm not sure what the word is in English, but the line in high school, like the niche which I studied. It was entrepreneurship, right?
I said niche that you studied. He's already thinking about YouTube.
No, but like niche,
so
like where we were focused.
Yeah,
Some people
business.
do physics. I did economics and entrepreneurship. And I was in a group in this kind of entrepreneurship class where you start your own business. And we were just going to do dropshipping, which totally failed, by the way.
I've seen the photo.
Yeah, it totally failed, and I got the worst grade out of everyone in the entire high school, but that's another story. However, one of my friends actually had a Faceless YouTube channel, one of the people that I was in the group with.
Wow.
So I just kind of took this home, and in my free time I started some pretty bullshit channels that couldn't really earn anything. I guess that was a beginner mistake from me as well, since I didn't do any research. I just got into a random niche. I got millions of views. It was super nice and everything. But then it turned out the channel couldn't even be monetized because I hadn't done this research beforehand. So I kind of failed my first few channels like everyone does. Spent a few $1,000s on just content creation, all that kind of stuff. A year on just sitting in my apartment trying to figure stuff out. And then eventually I started getting some channels that were successful.
And you were like, and you were 18 years old at the time, right, when you started?
Yeah, I might have even been, when I started the first channel, I might have even been younger, like 17.
17. And this was back when like AI wasn't even like such a huge kind of thing, right?
No. ChatGPT at this time, like, this is the time when ChatGPT came out and everyone was so amazed, like what the hell, like this tool can just answer any question that I have. Obviously now AI is, astronomically crazier, but
it's crazy. I don't think like if you open your YouTube feed nowadays, you'll see that like there is a significant amount of AI content. Yeah. And you're behind maybe a significant amount of it.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, and AI content, like before we get into the all of this in depth and everything, like AI content, you need to know what you're doing, otherwise you're gonna end up in a very bad position. But I would argue for that a majority of the Faceless channels being started right now, or literally 90% of them, use AI for their entire production process or more. Like it's crazy the amount of channels that we see being started right now that are using AI, and many people who might have read a bunch of stuff on X that YouTube is terminating way more channels than before. This is also because, like, during just the past few months, every single month, like 100 times more channels are being started than half a year ago per month. So like there are way more demonetizations, but that is also because there are 1,000 times more channels being started, since AI is making everything so easy.
And what would you say to people that, say YouTube is saturated? Because I remember, back when in 2022, people were still saying, YouTube was saturated, and you've come into the game. I mean, I've seen, inside of the program how many, hundreds of people that have come through and done well. What would you say to those people who are saying YouTube is saturated because of AI?
I would say, like, YouTube automation the old way might be saturated, but that's also why AI is so powerful and why that's such a big advantage right now. Because we're still doing YouTube automation the quote unquote old way with high quality content and enjoyable content that people want to watch, but our advantage is that we're using AI to basically output 5 times the amount of uploads for a fraction of the cost of what all of the traditional channels are doing. So the game is still the same, but for those that learn how to utilize AI early on, and I was one of the early adopters, like when it comes to AI and implementing it for my YouTube strategy, if you truly learn it now and it's not too late, like you'll have such a big competitive advantage over everyone who's already running channels, but also other people that are starting channels the traditional way.
I think a lot of people, even the people starting AI channels, they just don't have the right strategies. And people say, the information is already always out there. I can just find the information myself. But I think a lot of people see YouTubers like, I'll just upload some videos and some of them might get views. But to the people who've done that, they'll probably have seen that oftentimes you just won't get any views because you don't have the right strategy.
Yeah.
And I mean, you found that yourself. I found that. So what would you say is like the number one thing that people make as a mistake when they're actually getting started with Faceless YouTube for the first time?
I would probably say it's the same mistake that I did when I started. Like niche will just be the generic answer. I'm sure every beginner also watching this podcast, they've been struggling with the niche. You don't really know what to get into. You're not sure if this can be monetized or not. You're not sure how to create content. And you just start overthinking everything so much that you never even start. So niche, definitely. Now the thing with AI and why it has made YouTube quite, I don't want to say it's an easy business model, but it's a very beginner-friendly business model, is because the only thing that you need right now, in comparison to before, is that you just need to spend time on ideation and finding out and being creative about what content people actually want to watch.
It's made it much easier to build, an empire of channels.
Yeah.
Right. Not just one or two. And I think a lot of people will say, well, how do I have time to run 5 or 6 or 7, whatever, 8 channels?
Yeah.
But I mean, you started in high school. I think you also worked in a supermarket in a 9 to 5. Tell us about that, man.
Don't take me back.
Let's roll the years back.
Yeah. So I was studying full time in high school when I was starting these first channels. I also worked part-time in that supermarket at the same time as studying full-time.
Okay.
So I guess you could call that, like, I don't know what you call that.
Extra full-time.
Yeah. And one thing that we've seen with almost like all of the clients that I have in Faceless Launchpad is that the people that are getting these crazy results, making $100,000 in the first half a year of getting into a completely fresh and new business model for them, like these people are still working their full-time jobs whilst they start this channel. So like every time I hear someone say that I don't have the time for this, even if you have just 1 or 2 hours per day, like you can start a Faceless YouTube channel. It will all just be excuses if you sit there and try to say that you don't have the time.
I think a lot of people just limit themselves and they try and find a reason not to do something. They try and find a reason for why it can't work for them, and maybe that comes from them not even believing in themselves. But I think you've proved that even at the age of 18, we've seen people at the age of 50, at the age of 60. I've had the pleasure to obviously coach a little and work with them a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned a channel with like 100,000 in revenue in about half a year.
Yeah.
Reed, who I remember first speaking to him. He's from Singapore.
Yeah.
He's working, a 9 to 5, like a consulting job. I mean.
Yeah, and after, like, I literally spoke to Reed yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as of recording this podcast, I spoke to Reed yesterday. He updated me, so I think he's at like 120K now. Averaging about $300-400 a day, just completely.
And he doesn't touch it.
He doesn't touch it much. He does do the ideation himself still, but for example, the script writing, the voiceovers, the editing, but he does not do anything else than the ideation. And that was actually one of the things that I was going to say. With AI, let's say you did YouTube automation 2 years ago. Okay, you're a beginner. You want to get into YouTube automation. You would have to learn the most important skill, which is ideation. But you would also have to learn how to hire a big team of freelancers for script writing, editing, thumbnails, everything.
So many people struggle with that because they don't know where to find them. They don't know how to hire them. It's a huge part.
And not only that, you would also have to have a big budget to pay all of these people. But the very big difference now is that you can literally only focus on the ideation as a beginner, because the script writing, editing and voiceovers, most of it can be done with AI for a very cheap price. So that allows you to just fully lock in on the ideation, which ultimately if you look at every situation where people blow up with these channels and make crazy amounts of money, the ideation is usually the root or the foundation to why they were able to get to that point.
And that all comes from like knowing a good process from the start. And I think also something that we've spoken about is, you know, using VAs. Most people think, well, AI isn't just going to spit out a perfect 30-minute long video. It's only going to give me images. It's only going to give me clips. Even if I do the ideation, I think a lot of people miss that a very, you know, easy part of a channel, if you can, you know, have the right guidance and you find the right people. And the reason why people can, you know, have 5 or 10 channels and this is like a real business is because you can build a very lean team and run it without much, you know, background costs.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not going to go too much in depth into this, but like there are AI tools right now being developed that you enter the title of your video and you have like your video done. You don't even have to manage a team. And the people that are early onto these tools, for example, as I said, I don't want to talk too much about this, but we give out free access codes to these tools in the community, like the program and everything. But the people that are early onto these tools and are in the right situation at the right time to get these codes, like they are getting such an even bigger advantage than just having access to AI and knowing how to use it in the first place.
Man, it's crazy. And like you say, the early adopters, you were an early adopter AI, but I think, you know, the window is so like huge. I mean, you see people, they're shocked at these little reels on their phone, but when it comes to YouTube as a platform, you know, they pay so much money to the creators on their platform. If someone's watching this and they're like, you know, I don't understand, how am I even going to get paid from YouTube? They're very skeptical about YouTube as a business model that can actually make them money. You know, what would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but I think YouTube has paid out like $1.5 billion in 2025, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's way more. I think they had, because YouTube as a platform did, I think, $40 billion in ad revenue. And I think they give half to creators, so they give half to AdSense.
Exactly. They give approximately half. So in that case, I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but then they paid out $20 billion to creators in just 1 year.
Just from AdSense as well.
Yeah, like that is more money than a small country's GDP if we look at the numbers. So people saying that or thinking that YouTube cannot be like a real business model, I understand what they mean, because when I was not doing YouTube, it felt like super like scary or cringe or weird.
And you imagine content. Like yourself being on camera, you imagine Mr. Beast and all these like videos, but when we think about YouTube as an entertainment platform and an alternative to television, and you see the kind of content economy booming, you think, you know, these media companies are investing heavily into YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's more than just, you know, a platform where you share videos nowadays. Let's speak about monetization, because people know that, okay, you can post videos and then YouTube pays you from the ad revenue, but you've done some insane stuff with monetization outside of just AdSense. So what's kind of your philosophy around that? Who have you, because I know we've helped a few other people do that too.
Yeah. So AdSense and earning money through ad revenue, that's the main attraction that people also see online. You know, these YouTube dashboards, you have this blue graph where people earn a bunch of money. But some channels that are making the absolute most amounts of money, like these are the channels that not only earn money through ad revenue, but they also monetize their channels through like affiliate marketing, sponsorships, digital products, for example. I've done this myself. I've also taught students that have got super good results. Most people might be familiar with the channel called How to AI that I ran. We're going to get into this as well, what happened to it and what's the current state, all that kind of stuff. But with How to AI, like if I posted the graph, sure, it was earning like $6,000 a month in ad revenue. But what people did not know is that channel generated over $100K per month in revenue from digital product sales, affiliate marketing, sponsorships, all that kind of stuff.
I think a lot of people miss the fact that you can create a channel in a niche where you're actually, you know, educating and providing value. And I mean, you've probably seen it like literally everywhere. Every single video nowadays on YouTube, it seems, has some sort of external sponsorship or, you know, click the link in my bio and sign up with this code and you'll make money. And $100,000 a month from a channel that, you know, isn't huge. People watching this might be making $100,000 over the course of 3 years.
Yeah.
And to hear that you can do that in a month, basically passively from affiliate, I mean, it's just absolutely insane.
I think we were at averaging like 24,000 views a day with How to AI at like the normal standard kind of boring level. And that, like I had one store with a single digital product that was like 50% profit margin, and that just sat there and generated 5, 6, 7K per month per day. Sorry,
per day. That's crazy. And
just
I think,
from that channel.
Yeah, and that's the power of when you have attention. You know, people who want to take advantage of kind of the attention economy, who want to have, you know, they might be working like good jobs, they might be making good money, but they just want a little bit more. They might want to make that little bit of passive income, and having that coming in because you've made an amazing video that people want to watch, you have an amazing brand, you have an amazing channel. It's a different level. And I mean, Matthias is someone who has also done that inside the product, which is crazy, and he's young as well. I mean, he's 21 years old.
Here in Bali. I met him like literally 20 minutes ago. So he went from having never done a proper faceless AI channel, you could call it, I guess, to now like he's staying in the same villa as me, working on faceless YouTube and everything. I mean,
imagine having students who do so well that they want to meet you, travel with you, live with you. It's insane.
It's amazing. But his I actually got some insight. He hasn't been I haven't been updating about his results too much on socials and all that kind of stuff. But with the same channel that he started also half a year ago, same time as Reed, that channel has done 100K in ad revenue.
100, and another channel doing over 100. I mean, we talk about, just before we go on to like that side of things, imagine how much that channel is worth as an exit. People talk about, you know, selling a business, and it's not like a mean thing, but in 6 months he's built something that he can exit for, you know, multiple 6 figures.
I think YouTube channels, you look at the monthly revenue, and then you times it times like 10, 12.
So
like the yearly.
So yearly you can sell it for 1x, but with, you know, a digital product that could be worth even more.
And I was going to get to that. So he built a Shopify store around this channel, only for this channel and the loyal audience that he had kind of accumulated over the course of everything. And that digital product store, where he sold like an ebook that he made with AI in a few days.
Made with AI.
Yeah. He generated over 50K lifetime from that store. So it's technically 150K from that channel. And seeing like he's as old as me, he's 21. Just starting a channel about like space stuff, and
we don't want to leak the niche.
No, I'm not going to leak the niche. There's so many channels about space anyways, but you start a channel about space, something that you're passionate about, something that you like, that has a proven audience, you know, can be verified by other people that might have experience, and boom, half a year later, that has become a business that generates you a couple $1,000, $5,000-$10,000 a month, which is insane.
It's absolutely crazy. And there's people who are 50, there's people who are 20. And I think the best part is that once you have it once, you have the team in place, you know how to find a niche, you know how to create the right content, it's repeatable, right? You know, it's something that you can scale almost infinitely without having to be super attached with your time at the same time.
And I usually say this quite a lot, but to everyone that we work with, you rarely want to, if you truly see YouTube as the business that it is, and you don't see it as a hobby, then you will not be the arms and legs of your channel. You will not be the person sitting there editing everything, because if you're going to output the required volume of posts to outcompete your competitors, then you're going to have to post multiple times per week. And if you're working a full-time job, how are you possibly going to sit and edit videos for 2 to 3 hours per day, when you can simply outsource that to someone who is perhaps in a country where people
get paid less.
They get paid less.
People don't realize.
Yeah, most people think that you have to hire some editor from the US who charges you $500 a video, but the truth is that since everything is online, you can simply go onto, you know, a marketplace like Upwork, and you can hire someone that will complete your video for $30, and that video alone, if it goes viral, will generate you thousands of dollars.
And what other business is out there? Like you mentioned, you started drop shipping. There's always people talking about this business model and that business model, but is there a single business model out there that you can put, you know, $40 into a video and, you know, get returns of thousands? I haven't heard of one.
And this is something that I discussed yesterday with Reed as well, who we talked about. He was putting in, I think, $60 to $70 per video on
That's quite
average.
Expensive.
That's quite expensive, but he does he hires a good editor. Like his content quality is quite high. It's quite expensive, but on average, the ROI that he got on every single video that he posted was like 6-7 times.
Wow.
So like if you think about this, and if you put it to what is called, like, put it in relation to a business model like crypto, you will never be able in crypto to just spend $70 and be sure that you'll get a 5, 6, 7 times return on every investment that you make.
Insane. And it's even the stock market. People, they work their jobs. They're stuck in, a position they don't like, and they think that the way out is going to be investing into the stock market, where they're going to get maybe a 10% return on a good year, on an average year, compared to actually bringing themselves cash flow. Because what would have been like the alternative for you? Where do you think your life would have gone if you hadn't started YouTube? You don't think about it.
I don't even want to think about that. I think, oh man, I think I would just be studying in college right now. Many of my friends are studying in college. There's nothing wrong with going to college, don't get me wrong. Like, if that is what you want, it's a very good thing. But me personally, I prefer to, right now, for example, you're not in the UK, I'm not in Sweden, where we're able to have locational freedom and we're able to do basically what we want. And if I go to college, I cannot do that. So that's why I don't want to go to college.
And also, I mean, with AI, how quick it's moving, people who are considering going to university or who have gone or who are potentially looking for jobs, that might not be around much, like, in 5 to 10 years. We don't know where things are going.
Claudebot.
Yeah, with Claudebot.
Claudebot coming out. If you don't know what Claudebot is, then you're going to be scared when you open Twitter and search for it.
Insane. It's pretty incredible, like, where the world is going at the moment. And I think if people might be thinking, I've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel for a while now. They've been doing a lot of research. They've maybe watched a lot of your content.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you would have for that type of person who's just very hesitant and maybe doesn't even believe in themselves, or maybe doesn't believe in kind of that it's actually possible for them? Because I know that's something I struggle with. I didn't think it was possible for me. I saw everyone else doing it, but that's everyone else.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you'd give to that person?
I think this is very similar to people like claiming that they cannot make as much money as people who live in the US, for example, when they live in Europe, because the people in the US, they have better they have a better starting point. They can earn more money if they post content from the US. But with YouTube, like Reed, for example, he's from Singapore and he lives in Vietnam, but he's one of the people that have made the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whilst being in Vietnam full time, because he's simply posting content on a channel that is directed towards US old market. Viewers. Mm-hmm. So with YouTube, if you're hesitant to starting because you think that you cannot like make the same journey as other people, or you think that you cannot make money because you're not in the US, like Reed, for example, not in the US, has made tons of money with YouTube animation. There's so many other students as well who we've been working with from Europe,
all over the world.
I don't want to say a worse country, but a country where you don't have the same starting point as people from Sweden, for example. Mm-hmm. They've made tons of money through just these channels.
I think sometimes people will look for like an excuse to not do something, rather than going head first and saying, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it work. For example, someone like Tano, I remember speaking to him, and he's working a 9 to 7 job. Most people after a 9 to 7 job, don't have time to do anything, but he's running like 3 or 4 channels simultaneously with the systems. Like, if you put your mind to something.
Yeah, I think he's even, so for the people that do not know Tano, he's also a guy that we've been working with as a unit of mine. But he was working in 9 to 7, and he runs 3 channels, possibly even more by now, since he's expanding. But he's running 3 channels, 2 of which are English, I think, or Spanish, and 1 of which is the other language. So let's say 2 English and 1 Spanish channel. And he's running these 3 channels at the same time as working as a big data consultant in Spain. And that job takes home like 2-3K for him every single month. But his 3 channels that he manages in 2 hours per day takes home consistently 10K per month.
Some people would be screaming at the podcast right now, why haven't you left your job? Of course, that's up to him.
That's 4 times the income that he's making from working, what is that, like 9 hours a day?
It's insane.
10 hours a day?
For not doing anything. I think, people don't realize you don't get paid for your time nowadays. I think a lot of people think, well, I can't make money if I'm not at a job. It's just not the case.
Internet money is really, once you do get into it, you understand how easy it is to just spawn money out of thin air. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say that it's for everyone, because you really do have to be a person that that really wants it deep within. Can't just be a lazy person who's like, oh, I'm just gonna throw money at this and I'm gonna make a bunch of money. That's not how it works.
You know, people who've worked with you, students who've done well, but I think some people come in with the expectation and they see the amazing results, and the results, like, they can't be denied. But I think there are some people who look for a get-rich-quick scheme, and I think something that I want to make clear, and that you probably want to make clear, is that YouTube is not, you know, a get-rich-quick scheme at all. Yeah. I mean, how long did it take from, you know, you starting your first channel to actually seeing that first kind of money come in, going through all the trial and error yourself, and having no guidance ahead of you?
I think it was a year, probably.
A year. Wow.
And as I said in the beginning of the podcast, I lost thousands of dollars as well throughout that year. And for like a high school student working part-time as a used salesman, like, that is quite a lot of money. Definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. Not something... I think the market with like coaching and all of these business models that are being promoted online it's just kind of plagued by people also doing everything they can to get like clients, and that then they're also going over the line and trying to sell people the dream that like their business model is like you can make 10K in 15 days of getting started.
It's crazy.
I try to remain as transparent as possible. But
yeah, exactly. You're not going to make, you know, although there are people who've made hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in as a beginner, it's not very likely. But what is likely is that if you put in the work and you don't stop, that, you know, eventually you will succeed, provided you have the right guidance. And I think that's like something with Faceless Launchpad that has been exceptional from what I've seen, kind of from the outside, is that we don't just kind of, you're not taking on any sort of person into a program like that, because it is very hands-on. You can't guarantee someone a result, obviously, which you do, that isn't actually committed and kind of understands the process and isn't just looking for some quick money.
Yeah. There are only so many factors that we can control, which, like, we control everything that we can control, and that's why we also in our kind of, you know, offer or agreement, we guarantee results. But this is only applicable if the person that we're working with will truly put in the work. Because otherwise, like, we might be, you know, providing all of the tools and all of the information, but if you're not going, let's, like, I always say this, YouTube is like the gym, or like online business is like the gym. You can be provided all of the supplements, you can have a personal trainer, you can have, you know, all of the equipment and tools, whatever. But if you're not going to the gym yourself...
If you're not lifting the weights.
Yeah, if you're not in the gym yourself and going there every day, no matter how many supplements and tools that you have, you will not be making any progress.
And some people get put off when they hear, you know, put in the work. But like we've said with YouTube, it's like, provided you have the right people in place and the right systems in place and you focus on the right tasks, it doesn't become a business that kind of takes up all of your time. Yeah. It's quite the opposite.
Yeah. With AI especially, because let's say a script, it would take you... I even wrote my scripts myself in the start of How to AI, which was not so fun activity. But I probably sat down for like 3 hours to write a single script, 4 hours. And now with AI, if that channel was still here today, we can actually talk about that soon.
Yeah.
Like, this script would have taken me 15 minutes, 20 minutes, start to finish.
That's insane. Yeah, so let's speak about How to AI, because I think a lot of people watching this will know of How to AI. If you don't,
I'll put a screenshot on the screen somewhere.
Yeah, we'll put a screenshot, but it's a channel with over 300,000 subscribers, tens of millions of views, that taught people how to use AI and probably made many more faceless YouTube creators thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Tell us a story kind of from A to Z.
Yeah, so it was one of my favorite channels that I've started, arguably the most profitable one as well, since we were going, like, we developed such a good strategy for converting people who enjoyed the content that we put out and the value that we put out for free, converting them into, you know, customers of digital products, affiliate marketing, sponsorships. If I post a video about how to create a video with AI, of course, all of these companies with AI creation tools, they want to pay me to use their tool. So the strategy was very lean and very, very profitable. But that channel, it was around for probably like 1.5 years, 2 years. went super well, became the biggest channel in its niche in terms of views. Like it was going really, really well. And then YouTube, for a very random reason, which I still to this day can't explain, took the channel down. My conspiracy theory, I'm not going to say that this is 100% the case, but we were teaching people how to create content with AI, how to create these videos with AI and make very profitable channels. And this is something that YouTube maybe don't want everyone to know. Like the broad masses, that everyone just starts creating AI channels like all over the place.
I remember also at that time income claims being on YouTube, because obviously the channel was teaching people how to make money, and you were saying, well, you can make this money on YouTube. And sometimes when you say that, YouTube can have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we were saying, how to download a YouTube video off platform.
Yeah. Like there were, of course, reasons stated by YouTube, but these reasons didn't really make sense to what was actually reflected in the content. So they would, for example, claim that I had, promised people to make tens of thousands of dollars in the intro of a video. But when I look back at that actual video, there's no income claim at all. Like we're simply modeling a channel that is making a lot of money. So my real theory is that with the content showing people how to create channels with AI, many beginners, they're quite lazy. So instead of following the full tutorial and following the steps to create high quality channels, they will resort to just taking one or two of the steps and start flooding the platform with AI slop, which is definitely not something that YouTube wants, and definitely not something that we even do or teach. Exactly. AI slop, like that is not the route that you want to go if you want to get monetized and start these profitable channels on YouTube. And YouTube didn't like this. So, but this is just my conspiracy theory based on my experience. I can never verify this information.
Yeah, and that's why the other channels kept a bit more low key. Maybe it was a hit job. We don't know.
That as well. So this might be a very common question from people who are watching all of these guys running successful YouTube operations. How to AI, which was my most public channel, it actually ran into a bunch of botting issues. Like I for a full month didn't earn any dollars, any income in ad revenue, simply because YouTube told me that people are sending bots and fake engagement to my videos.
And it's because you were public about it.
Yeah, and that is why I was, because I was public about the channel. So when you might be asking yourself, like, why aren't they just showing all of their channels publicly? Why would I be risking my channels, my essential business, just for the few likes of a few people?
Exactly. We learned the lesson the hard way.
Yeah, and that channel, was making me 6 figures a month. So it wasn't like a small hit to my income. Like 6 figures a month, I think that is quite a big income for anyone. So it is a shame, but that's also part of the game. That's also why you differentiate your portfolio with multiple channels, so that if one of them, for whatever reason, you should always be ready for this, for whatever reason, gets taken down, you're always ready and have a portfolio of channels to back you up.
It's like you say, it's running a business. You have to, obviously be diversified. And in any business, in e-commerce, you can have your ad account taken down. Yeah. Your suppliers can go wrong. And I think with YouTube, actually with yourself now, you know so much about that side of things. You've gone through the process of battling, having channels taken down. I don't think there's a single person that we've helped that has, gotten monetized and has then had many, if not any, issues with being taken down.
Yeah, we've helped hundreds of people start these channels now. I think there's one single channel that has been demonetized out of multiple hundreds of monetized, profitable, super successful channels. There's one single channel that ran into issues. And if you look at that from like the helicopter perspective, that is not a lot. There's a very low risk factor.
It's like less than 1%. And when you have a diverse channel, when you have multiple channels, multiple different niches, I mean, you barely even have a chance of kind of running into that, provided you follow. I think a lot of people say, I post a YouTube video and I don't get any views, and it's literally like 1 view, 5 views. Yeah. I think shadow banning is a huge thing that people struggle with.
Actually. Yeah, shadow bans Also, one of the most, to loop back to your question about the most common beginner issues, niches, that's kind of something that, yes, everyone struggles with for a good reason. The people that are making multiple hundreds of thousands per month with YouTube automation, like they have a very good process for finding new niches, and they spend most of their time on finding new niches. Shadow bans, however, is more a beginner-centered problem, because the people that get over this obstacle, they don't have it so much more. So shadow bans, basically, for people that might not know what it is, you post a few videos, as Louis here said, you get like one view, you take a look at your impressions, you have 13 impressions from, usually it is search features, meaning that people can only find your content through using the search bar on the YouTube platform. And this means that YouTube is not actively pushing your content out to the audience that they should be pushing it out to. Your content is not being recommended on the homepage. It's not being recommended as like suggested videos on the side of the interface. And this is a very common issue and a very easy issue to get plagued by if you don't know what you're doing.
And there's, I mean, I can't even count probably on my fingers how many of those small issues, you know, people struggling with different metrics on their channels, people struggling with ideating the right content. And I think that's why as well, having guidance, I mean, the free content on your channel is insanely valuable to anyone. When you were starting out without any guidance, kind of how was that process for you, like trying to figure things out by yourself?
Oh man, I have to think back a few years. First, like the biggest, I was kind of with, for example, my first successful channel, I was kind of lucky because, or actually, I can't really put it like that. I had failed channels before that, so that doesn't really make sense. But let's say my first channel. First of all, just finding the niche. Obviously, I did a very bad job at it because the channel failed. So I fell into the common beginner trap of just finding a channel on YouTube. It gets a lot of views. Hey, I'm gonna do the same thing, without validating the competition, without looking into if there's room to create new channels in this niche. Mm-hmm. I just kind of went blindly into it and didn't think too much else of it. And that is a very costly mistake, because then if you post 5, 10, 15 videos, you're paying, now with AI it's not the same price, but back then, let's say I was paying $60, $70 per video to get them created. That times, 15, what's that, like more than $1,000 just thrown into the void, because I didn't spend some extra time making sure that my niche was good.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't know how to do that because you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what to look for. If you haven't seen it before, you don't know what to look for. And that's also like part of the first like modules that we talk about in Faceless Launchpad is just showing a bunch of examples of channels that have been very successful in a broad range of or array of niches. Because you just seeing these channels and understanding like, hey, this is the picture perfect faceless YouTube channel startup, that gives you a very good understanding yourself of what you should be looking for when you are on the YouTube platform. So I would say, ideally, if you're a beginner, just start off by absorbing as much information from the free content that I put out. For example, learn how these channels look, and then you'll be of a much better position to find them yourself. Yeah.
And I think having a niche found for you, like, because it's such an important thing, and I know it's something that's helped so many people that you've personally worked with. How can that have an impact? Because people realize like the niche is, you could be interested in something, and it's great to be getting a channel, getting a niche that you are interested in, but if no one else is interested in it, you're not going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I've seen them many times. On YouTube, you have to, luckily with How to AI, for example, I love AI, which is also why I've been working so much with it. But How to AI, it's not always that you will start a channel in a niche you like adore and you love so much and you enjoy creating content in. And that actually makes sense as well, because you shouldn't be the person that is sitting there and creating content in it every single day. Like, you are the strategist of your channel. This is just the core principles of YouTube automation overall. You are let's say we think about this like common meme image of like a puppet master. where you see someone like managing their puppets and all that kind of stuff, like 2 hands in the darkness. That should be you with your channel. You should be the strategist doing the ideation, like thinking of like what topics based on previous data should we create content about, and then you are not the person sitting and writing about these topics. That is your scriptwriter or AI in this case.
Mm-hmm. And that's a huge part of things that people don't realize. You don't have to be the person on the camera. You don't have to be the person showing your face. And when people hear YouTube, they just don't know. For you, where do you see things going? In 3, 5, 10 years time with YouTube, people who are starting now have that first movers advantage with AI, 100%. Where do you see some of these people that you've helped, and even new people who are starting now? What do you see them being able to do in like the next 3 to 5 years?
So with YouTube, the channels that are making the most amount of money, it usually turns out to be the channels that are very early onto the niche. Mm-hmm. And these are also the channels, the ones that do pick up momentum in their niche, meaning, first of all, it's very important that you find this gap in a niche, as we talked about. But the channels that have the longest lifespan and the channels that can be around for years and generate consistent income for years, these are the channels that were established first in their niche. So, for example, I ran How to AI for 2 years. It was a shame that it got randomly terminated, but there are also other channels in the portfolio that are still running from way back when I started. So if you do start, like YouTube is a game that only gets easier and easier the more you do it. So your first channel or your first 2 channels, they will be quite difficult, as with any business model, of course. But as you do get into the game and you learn more and more, launching a channel and monetizing it within a month doesn't become that becomes the ordinary. It doesn't become like a wow factor, one time crazy surprise. So the people that are in the game for years to come, these are the people that early on learn these skills and just stay consistent throughout it. Many of the people that I met in South Africa when we were in like the YouTube mastermind, many of the guys making multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars with Faceless YouTube. These are guys that have been in the game since 2016. And they're just sitting there in the shadows, not even showing their face, never revealing their identity, running these now so-called media companies when you reach a certain scale.
Exactly. Media companies. That's something I wanted to touch on, because people maybe watch this and they'll think YouTube's not real business and this and that, but media companies, and there are outside companies, there's private equity that are looking to invest in YouTube because it is the next, if you look at a classroom nowadays, everyone under the age of 18, maybe none of them, like maybe 1 or 2 of them in a classroom will be watching television regularly compared to YouTube. People are learning things on YouTube. People are, making like virtual connections and friendships with random people on the internet through YouTube. Just, it's insane.
It's very true. Private equity is actually if you look at the data, I actually talked about this with a few guys in South Africa as well. Private equity is moving into YouTube more and more for every single year that goes. And the market for acquiring channels and selling channels is way bigger than most people might think. Like, there are channels being listed every single day, probably hundreds of channels being listed every single day, where people sell a channel they started 3 months ago for $100,000 or similar. And these media companies that are very aware how to run faceless channels, they will be very happy to acquire smaller channels that they see potential in, and that they know that they can scale up with their experience. So it's honestly impossible to imagine how YouTube will look in the coming years, because AI is just becoming better and better every single day. People are creating better and better content. Like, people are soon creating movies with AI. I can assure you that within 2 years, all movies that we will see on television or
the new ones, cinemas, most of them,
they will be made with AI.
Or at least partially, and sometimes fully, like the animated films and that sort of things. And I think when people say, YouTube, they're banning AI, it's like, do you not understand? YouTube want people to watch their content, and people will want to have, imagine when you can watch your favorite movie, but your favorite movie isn't just generic, it's tailored kind of to you, and it's, you can, the storyline can change, and there can be 10 different versions of a film based on, what's wanted. if that's what people are going to want, and people maybe can't see that now, but if you can start, on your journey in YouTube and you get ahead of the game now, whilst the opportunity is still there, you can be the person selling to these media companies. You can even build, a very big, like yourself, portfolio of channels that make you income on autopilot.
And like there are, we call it like the Vietnamese, I'm not going to say it, but like the Vietnamese mafia or the Vietnamese squad. Like there are people or groups of people that are running faceless YouTube operations that are like beyond our understanding.
Beyond the scale that you can even comprehend.
Yeah, and like they manage hundreds of channels, bringing in like multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per day with these media companies the only assets they own are channels on YouTube, faceless channels. Like channels started 10 years ago, kids channels, just posting kids animations.
Like Cocomelon. Everyone's seen that one. That is a multi-$100 million company.
Yeah, and it's a YouTube channel.
It's insane.
So the people that 10 years ago, they thought like, hey, let's create a faceless channel.
But the opportunity is still there again now with AI.
Yeah, it's just the same. It's like a crypto cycle almost. It's just looping over and over again. Yeah, it's honestly insane.
Do you think people need any sort of special skills? Do you think there's like, any need for that? Because some people, have told me when I've mentioned faceless YouTube to them, it's like, I just don't really believe that, I've got what it takes. Do you need any sort of special skills or knowledge?
I think that argument is mainly because it has to do with creating content. Creating content overall in today's society it's getting more and more normal, and people are getting more comfortable doing it, but it's still very stigmatized that if you create content, you're like not a serious person.
Especially for a normal person who works a job.
Yeah, if I would go, for example, in my high school when I started, like if I told anyone that I was creating YouTube videos, which I did, because I didn't think it was so weird, but it's like a stigmatized thing, and you're kind of like, it's kind of something funny or something that can never become anything. Mm-hmm. And I think this like makes people think what you just said, that they kind of subconsciously use these things, or these things kind of subconsciously keep them from just what is it called? my
taking action,
English barriers.
Yeah, from taking action and moving forward.
Because they're scared of creating content, so they cope with saying that they don't have the skills to create the content.
Because, I mean, like we said, with AI, it's like anyone can do this. Yeah. There are teenagers doing this. There's people in countries that have nowhere near the economic power of countries like the US and in Europe that are still doing so well. And it's like if you can click some buttons and you can manage a team and you can ideate content and you kind of understand. I mean, like everything can be taught as well. It's not like an insanely like from the outside it may seem, whoa, I've got to make videos, got to ideate, got to hire this person, but you can put it into a workflow in literally 1 to 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's another business with the potential for scale like YouTube.
Yeah, I was speaking to another student of mine called Husseila. Actually, an interview with him coming out, like as of recording this podcast in a week or two.
I think I spoke to him back then.
Yeah, and he's also, I don't remember his exact age, but he's also over.
He has children, family.
Yeah, he has a whole family, children. He's like 40, 50 years old. And my mom, for example, she might not be the best with tech and, online, all of these kind of things. It might be super scary. But I am very sure that if she just put her time into it, like even she would be able to start a YouTube channel in today's day and age. Because it is not that hard.
And you only need one channel to replace your entire income.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part, because the way you look at things, you might be thinking of, how can I build an empire of channels and make each channel make this amount and manage this whole team. But for the average person, one channel making 5K a month, which isn't a huge ask, especially when you consider sponsorships and how quickly sponsorships can come in the right niche.
Yeah, they find you if you're creating good content, if you're creating good content, especially educational content, like your email inbox will be overflown with sponsors.
Yeah. Is there any advice you have, because some people may take sponsorships too quickly on their channel. You know, they see $1,000, $2,000 being offered to them just to promote, for example, like a VPN. People see it all the time on their channels. But that can also have an impact on, obviously, your retention on your channels. Have you seen anything with that you've had to?
I've seen a lot. So the main thing, if it's just a super short integration, doesn't really matter what kind of sponsorship you do. It won't hurt the retention too much if you put like an integration in the middle of your video. Like you put a short snippet of like 20 seconds in the middle of your video. People would just skip past it. It will be negative for the brand because they won't get any conversions if you promote a VPN on a channel about baking cookies, you know. But if you're making a dedicated video about something, let's say you're a tech channel, or let's say you're a super random, let's say you're a online e-commerce channel. You're teaching people how to start with e-commerce, and then suddenly, like, you're reviewing all of these different e-commerce tools, Shopify, whatever, WooCommerce, and then suddenly you post a video about a VPN, a full dedicated tutorial about a VPN. That will hurt the retention.
It's just not relevant.
Your viewers, they don't care about the VPN. They care about e-commerce.
There's a difference between dedicated videos and just snippets.
Yes, so snippets pay, of course, less. It's just an integration. They benefit the brand less. For example, on How to AI, I did so many sponsorships, probably accumulated a few $100,000 in sponsorships on that channel, just that channel alone.
Wow.
And brands... brands are not so smart, at least what I think. They want to pay you so much more money for a dedicated video. I got paid over $10,000 for one video once on that channel. And these dedicated videos usually just completely flop, while a integration can get the normal video views. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah, because they don't realize that a dedicated video won't actually pop off on the algorithm as well. But, I mean, to the average person, that's crazy. Getting paid $10,000 plus to make a video that, you know, doesn't cost you anything much to produce. You were going to upload a video anyway.
It's a guaranteed, you know, $9,950 profit,
and
plus all the digital products and stuff I already sold AdSense in the same video.
Yeah, man. How, like, I mean, you were 19, 20 years old when this was happening. How did that feel? Like, walk me through it. What was like that first moment where you're like, I made it, man?
I don't think I've touched that moment yet. No, I really, like, I'm very conservative on... I do like to buy some expensive stuff, because why not? You need to live a little bit. But in the beginning, I've saved most of the money that I've earned. I've saved it. I don't buy expensive clothes. I just have like the same clothes every single day. Like I have like 10 of these shirts, you know, 20 of these shirts. Same with the jeans. So I don't know. I don't think I've touched that I made it stage yet. My goals constantly just get bigger and bigger. So if I earn 100K in a single month, you know, when I started, I would have been like, what the actual, you know, fuck is happening? How can I earn 100K in a single month? But now that I do it, it's like, how can I get to $1 million a month? How can
it gets normalized in your head?
Yeah, and I don't know if that's too positive, to be honest. I would say it's something that can become a nightmare in the future. But
I suppose there are some people probably watching this with that type of personality where they're like, you know I want to achieve this goal. I know I'm going to do it, and it's just a matter of time for them to obviously find the right knowledge and have the right, you know, systems in place to be able to do that.
I think in some way you have to stay relative to your own position, because if you are making $0 and you're working a job where you're making 3K, maybe your first goal shouldn't be, I'm going to make 50K in 2 months, you know, because that's not going to be realistic. Your first goal should be, hey, let's try to get one channel on its feet. Let's get that channel to, you know, 2-3K per month, so that it can, you know, replace the income that you're already getting, or just add onto it. And you will have a much more pleasant journey starting your own business, I think.
I think the first step is that monetization. And I think that's something, I mean, we've helped, I don't know, 100 plus, 200 plus.
It's the best feeling. Your first channel being monetized.
Yeah, because it makes it real. You know, that money's coming in. And then when you see that once, it's replicable. And I think, I mean, that's part of the guarantee, I think, with what you do is like, you know, if someone comes in and has you in their corner, has a team that we haven't, you know, that you haven't in their corner, it's like there's no way that you can't succeed if you do put that work in.
Yes, and the only thing that can differ is the rate in which you do succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, Matthias, I think, or Reed as well, both of them, like they got monetized within 2 weeks of starting the channel. So they posted 2-3 videos after consuming the program content for like, you know, 1-2 weeks as well, just getting started, getting on their feet. Posted 2-3 videos on the channel, and within 2 weeks of posting that first video, the channel is monetized.
And it's already making income.
Yes, and if you go back to the Reed interview that I'm going to post in a few days, you will see that as soon as the channel was monetized, the first day of being monetized, it earned $300 or more in that first day. So it goes from $0 to $300 in a single day. And that feeling, I can tell you, is it's a stronger addiction than anything else.
And we talk about these crazy results, Matthias and Reed, but we've even got people like Aston who are just working normal jobs. He's from the UK, like I am, and it's like being able to at least you don't have to leave your job to do YouTube. Like you started alongside your job, eventually you left,
yes,
but you don't have to.
No,
and that's the beautiful thing. It's like it gives you that support. You know, people are talking about the cost of living, things are crazy.
Yeah.
There's wars going on all over the world. But having that extra income just gives you, for some people, it's just that level of support. We're talking about, $1 million a month with channels and stuff. But I think for most people, it's what they want.
Just $3,000 per month, like that will drastically change your life if you're struggling with cash. And with what you said, it makes starting your own YouTube channel only a question of priorities. Because the people that start their channels whilst working a job, they simply dedicate 1 or 2 hours of their day to sit and work on their channels, even though, it might feel like they're studying, it might feel like, they're learning something new. It like burns calories in your brain. I don't know, like it's constraining. And other people choose to just spend that mindlessly scrolling TikTok or watching Netflix, for example. So it's really just a question of priorities. Anyone can do it, but not everyone. And why you're such a good position will do it, because in the beginning it does suck to not be able to get your dopamine from your daily scrolling. Like that's just the truth. Like I love scrolling TikTok as well. Fortunately, I can scroll more now that
the channels are running themselves.
Yeah, fortunately I can scroll more now. But if you're someone who's working all day and then you come home and like scrolling TikTok might be a good part of your day, but you have to give that up if you want to build a better future for yourself.
And people with family commitments and all of that, it all ties into it. But at the end of the day, you do have to make sacrifices, and one sacrifice can be, you're going to have to invest money into this. If you want a really good coach, if you want, the best athletes, they all have coaches. They will spend, before someone goes pro in a sport, business and sport are very interrelated. Before someone goes pro in a sport, they're investing into their training, and so finding the right coach and also having the right people on your team. It does take a financial commitment too. So that's why when people say, YouTube is saturated, it's not. These people are not committed, and no wonder they don't see results.
I think it's so funny always when people they try to ask me. I've had probably over 10,000 comments like this by now on all of my channels about Faceless YouTube. Like people are asking me, how can I make money for free? Or how can I make money without spending a single dollar on tools? If you're going into this with that mindset that you're gonna invest $0, then you should be happy about a $100 return. Like that's the most you can expect. I just find it so funny that people...
It takes money to make money at the end of the day.
It really does. And the people that are making the most amount of money, they are investing absurd amounts of money into growing their business and scaling the business.
That doesn't mean it has to be, a huge risk. It's not a case of, you've got to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to even get started. It is one of the most beginner-friendly business models I've ever seen.
And if you do have the time, you can really choose to save. Like, let's say you have a lower budget for creating the content, but you have more time. Since we're working with outsourcing, you can learn some of these things yourself. Although it's like you will, of course, have a faster progression by willing to invest. Sure, that's just how it works for everything. But for example, let's say you have somewhat of a budget to start a channel. That's what you do. That's what you want to do. You can do the script writing yourself with AI. You don't have to hire someone to do it for you.
The thumbnails.
Yeah,
AI.
thumbnails. If you just spend 30 minutes an hour extra, you can do the thumbnail yourself. And so like you don't have to go from 0 to 100 and outsource and create a whole production team straight away if you have some extra time to devote.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. It's a very, very flexible business model for people who are working 9 to 5s, for even people who are just at home with family, or people who just don't really know what direction they want to go in and they want something to commit themselves to, a project. And some people say, I think I need to be creative for YouTube. What would you say to those people?
I mean, if you take a look at one of the tutorials on my YouTube channel, you'll see that I ask ChatGPT to do a lot of the ideation.
Exactly.
And even in many of my master classes, I talk about on YouTube. There's something that we refer to as the 80-20 rule. I've talked about it so many times now, so I'm gonna keep it very brief. But the 80-20 rule means that you find a channel that is getting super good results, like in your niche perfect channel. You take 80% of what they do, and then you add 20% of your own kind of angle, your own secret sauce, whatever you want to call it.
Creativity a little bit.
Yes, and this, you can just literally just highlight the entire page of a channel, copy that information, paste that into ChatGPT, and ask ChatGPT for sub-niches on that niche. Mm-hmm. Boom. You have like 100 new brainstorm sub-niches.
Sub-niches, where it's at.
And new angles that you can attack that have less competition than the main niche. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you just have to be curious. Like with AI, the people that get the best results, these are the people that are very curious to just learn more and use these tools.
Yeah. One of my last questions, a bit off topic, is when you started YouTube, you mentioned you've been in class projects, you told a few people about YouTube. When, after a year of work, not seeing many results, losing, thousands of dollars that you didn't really have at the time, when you first started seeing the results and then you were getting paid $10,000 for a video and you eventually scaled to 6 figures a month, how did those people, those maybe old friends or people you knew or your family kind of react to that?
Of course, my family is very supporting. They're very happy. I can buy more stuff. We can experience more things, all of this kind of stuff. So they're very supporting. And when someone sees money like this, it's not like my mom is gonna say, "Hey, I don't believe in that. It's not gonna make you money." Like if she sees that I make money and I show her, "Hey, here's the money,"
she's not gonna force you to go to university now.
Yeah, exactly. So, but friends. Many of them have actually got into Faceless YouTube as well after seeing everything, and of course, I've tried to help them as much as I can. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the non-believers, they're still doing their thing, like working the same job. So
waking up to an alarm.
I'm not here to hate on anyone. I never I truly believe that hate only comes from below you. Yeah. You rarely get hate from someone that has come further than you in life, and that is due to a very good reason. That hate just originates in jealousy. So I don't really hate on the people that didn't believe in me. I can only do most and try. I'll share the information with them if they're really serious about this. Mm-hmm.
And there's so much free information out there. But I think what a lot of people lack is someone to hold them accountable, someone to actually make sure they're doing the right thing, someone they can ask. Because at the end of the day, you can ask ChatGPT, am I doing the right thing? But everyone else is asking ChatGPT, is my business strategy correct? And I think that's where the limitations of AI will come into play.
Yeah. You do have to, when people, I've said this before, when people start outsourcing their intuition, that's when we reach a point where
we're nearly there.
Yeah, it's gonna be scary, but yeah,
it's insane.
I think we've been on for
over an hour now.
1 hour.
What's one thing that you want to leave the audience with? Maybe a message to, let's say you at 17 years old, right before you started a Faceless YouTube channel, for someone who's like, wow, I've just watched this entire podcast and I'm like, should I really, really commit to this and really take it seriously?
Yes, I would say you can succeed by all means by going the trial and error route for sure. Like I'm a testament of that myself. You can succeed. You don't need any kind of coaching, but you need to also understand that the stigma about coaches and like everything being a scam, that can also be very misleading. Me, for example, even though I'm making very good amounts of money at a very, very young age, like I'm still paying for coaching myself from people that are above the level, from people that are making like 500k a month. I'm still paying for coaching from people that are at a higher level than me. So if you truly want to give this your all, if you're truly a person that will put in the effort and you have the budget for it, then I wouldn't be so scared.
It's a no-brainer. For coaching exactly. And it can be anyone. Obviously, you're biased. I'm probably quite biased seeing what you've done. But like, I feel like at the end of the day, it just comes to committing to yourself, committing to that you can do something and really making it work, because you can make it work. Yeah,
it's gonna be like standard, like stay consistent. But it really is true, and especially with YouTube, the people that get the furthest, and the people like Reed, Matthias, Tanu, Peter, everyone in the program that are getting these super cool results, they're the people that keep on posting for 2-3 months, and they would keep on posting even if they didn't get a single view. Like even if they didn't get this success, I'm 100% convinced that people like Reed and Matthias, they would continue posting until they started seeing views.
They have that mindset.
Yeah.
So if you're that type of person, where can people find you?
I mean, you're already on my channel of some sort, so just shoot me a message. If you're on YouTube, then you can always go on my Instagram and shoot me a message. I answer as much as I can.
I see you messaging a lot of people
all
the time. He gets a lot of messages, but he's there.
I'm starting to tone down on the TikTok scrolling and spend that on messaging people on Instagram as well. No, but you can send me a message. If I don't answer, then there's...
Search Faceless Launchpad on the internet and find it. Maybe link in the bio.
Twitter, also active. Wherever you want to find me.
Leo, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, man. I'll see you in the next one.